All right, welcome everyone to this Force Friday in our live session with me, Mike Mattesi, and our other Force instructors. Hey Diego, how you doing?
Hey Mike, I was muted, not to interrupt. How are you?
Good, good, good. I'm looking forward to seeing your pile of sketchbooks there.
Yeah.
It's exciting. How's it going, Swendlin? All right, welcome
Good.
everyone to this
Excited as
Force
always.
Friday in our live. Good, good, good. And last but not least, Ritunj, he's got a pile going on there too.
Yeah, I just break down my bag finding all those.
Yeah, so today, everyone, we're going to be sharing with you some of our personal sketchbooks, right? The goal I think today is just for you to see how each one of us has used our sketchbooks, how they've supported us in all of our own personal journeys up to this point. I'd say probably being the oldest of the bunch, hopefully I have the most sketchbooks. I did not go through all of them. You're going to see a very, very small sliver of at least my own work. I think I counted probably over 30 in total. So I'm just going through a few to share some really key ideas around sketchbooks for you. And then the other guys have some of their own work they're going to share with you also, which is going to be, I think, really exciting to see. If there's one thing I love doing is getting my hands on somebody else's sketchbook, it's just really cool to see what somebody is thinking about. It's the stuff where they're, I think personally, really revealing, what they think about what their day-to-day life is, the things that are happening, right? What they're trying to problem solve or what's affecting them. So very personal journeys. In fact, I have to say, a lot of my stuff was in storage, so I had to go through digging all this stuff out in the first place. And I might maybe next year actually try to go through them more specifically. There's a lot of content to cover, and we're going to barely scratch the surface really today with each one of us talking for 15 minutes or so. So let's get started. I'm going to hand this over first to Diego. Okay, Diego, all yours.
All right. So, as you may notice, I'm a little further away from the camera because I have these things to lay everything down. Well, as you may see, I have a lot of things here, like big one, like smaller ones, some craft paper. Here's some old drawings, like some of them are not even mine. Here's another type of book. This is hard one for inking. One thing I want to talk about that we just talked with the guys before is the quality of the paper. So let me change the camera so you can see me and also see my things. Share. Okay, you see that? So this paper is thicker, right? It's a thicker paper and it's an archival paper, different from, this is big, this is an A3. So this is not to go around with this in my pocket, right? It doesn't fit in my pocket. So that's one type of paper. This is another type of paper. Okay, I just want to show you here. Let me open. This is like craft. This is like craft paper. I think this is new. This has nothing inside. So this, oh yeah, they had some strange doodling here, right? A strange hand. But this is really hard paper. This is, you can use water on it and ink. This is the same thing, but smaller, right? So you can start doing things like that here, and you can even add some light tones like white things. This is an analysis of a person here. So yeah, this, I used this while I was traveling in Barcelona. I did this with Joaquin Aldeguer. He drew one thing and I started filling in, and he had other thing, and we finished this thing here. So I bought it there, and we start with that drawing. I have many things in here, like different small phases of people. When I was trying to sit down to drink coffee, I was looking at uh, different persons. Of course, some of
Yeah, those
them
are cool.
are not people.
Yeah,
Right.
those are awesome.
So these are different stuff, right?
So the
He
guy
was
with the
trying to
horns, was he
explain
there
that.
too?
Sorry, go ahead, Tony.
I saw a guy with horns. Was there? Was he in the coffee shop too?
No, maybe.
Ah, okay.
All right.
Fortunately.
Yeah, so there are many things you can play around. I like to carry one of these always. Like you take it out and you do. Here notes are like this is me having notes and different things written down. Like
That's cool.
let's see, like ink and things. This Force Dynamic Light Drawing for Animators. This is 14/1/2017, right? January 14th, 2017. So yeah, this is one. This is empty because I take all the paper out and I put new one. Right, here's me. You know.
How did you get that on there? Is that a sticker on the front, or how did you get that your
No,
logo
this
on
is like with a stencil and paint.
Oh, cool.
Serigraphy. It's called like that in English. Serigraphy. Yeah. This is a big one. This is where's the front? Yeah. Here's the front. Here's some drawings like this. I like to do. You'll see some white pages. It's because I like to start not from the very beginning. I don't like the first page. I never like to start a sketchbook in the first page. I just open it and I get one page and I start drawing there. Well, and here, what I have here is.
Hey, before you go, I want to stay on that for a second. Why do you do that? What do you think's what's the purpose for not starting on the first page?
Yeah, many people fear about getting this new sketchbook and start the first page and get a perfect drawing in the first page. So you get all scared out and I'm gonna break the first page of my sketchbook, and so I just open and I start from whatever page. Then I go back and move forward, and then I maybe go to the next page, the next page, the next page. But I want to start the sketchbook with not the first page. I don't like the first page to start a sketchbook.
So
That's just me
less
being
pressure, right? Yeah, it's less
pressure.
pressure.
Yeah, it relieves the pressure of making a good drawing on the first one.
Yeah.
So cool. Here, there's a lot of folios with a lot of drawings and different type of drawings of me. This is what I usually do, but because all in the last year more so. Because we were drawing inside our houses. So I was drawing with paper, just paper. So I draw. And I was telling Ritunj before that what I do, these are mainly critiques. These are critiques from the guys in the forum. You see, this is correcciones in Spanish, drawing force. So I have all this with different type of critiques for students. You see the process and thing I teach. So I have like a whole book in here.
It's very organized.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a tip I use. Yeah, here's more drawings, and I can keep going with this forever, right? These are live drawings. You see, like live drawings. These are all live drawings. Here's a generic folder. I have this as everything I like, but I don't like it too much. So it goes here. And last but not least, I have this one, which is what I was talking to Ritunj before, is that every year I get this type of paper and I draw and I throw it on the floor. And every time I got a bunch, I put it on a folder called 2020 in this case. And at the end of the year, I remove the one I loved or I like the most, and I put it here. So in this sheet, you will see my sketchbook, my best sketchbook ever, which is if you can get a sketchbook specifically of all the things you love and when you figure things out. So this is a sketchbook you're gonna see.
It's cool.
And this one important thing is to take care of this paper because it's really shitty paper is a smooth newsprint, so it gets really affected by light, water. It get all messy pretty fast. So if you're drawing on smooth newsprint, be careful how you take care of it. So I will start going by and I will say things about different pieces. These are from since 2013, I think. They are here from 2020. So you see a mixture of everything. So these are here's another thing. These are drawings you see on my Instagram. So you'll see that they're not digitally touch, or I remove, I erase something. So this is me drawing, and this is how it came out, and that's what I post. Right? So there are things that I really love about this drawing. I love this one. This was just so cool. Just 4 lines, and I have it there, and I love this one.
People are saying in the chat that if you had a fire, now they know what you would take first.
Yeah, probably. Actually, there was a fire next door last week, or the week before. And to be honest, you just get out. Yeah. You don't think about anything.
Right.
It's fire. Let's get out of here. I love this one. This is really old. But you'll see really, really old ones. This is from a live drawing session. This is a 2-minute drawing. I stole this from Mike. Mike put this kind of thing next to the drawing. So I think it's a great idea to know exactly how long that took you to draw. Mm-hmm. This is from the pack, from the model pack. Mm-hmm. I love this one. This one was with a stick, a graphite stick like this one. Mm-hmm. I just draw the outside and start moving this like that, so I get that kind of shadow and rendering. But it's not rendering at all. Well, actually, it is rendering, but it's just me moving the stick like that. Mm-hmm. So I really love this one. This is another one from the previous model pack. This is Trinda. Yeah, I love the strength of this drawing. This is from the one of Proco's models. This guy Bake. I don't remember his name right now. Mm-hmm. I did this for a Swendlin challenge, I think.
Yes, I remember.
And I think it was a video of me showing like that I get wrong the arm, so I move it, and I don't care. You can see that when we use soft touch is so important, because this arm is almost getting banished because everything else is so dark, and you don't pay attention to this. It's not that you think, oh, she got 3 arms. No, we don't think that. I love this model, by the way. This is the same model from the drawings I show you with ink on the first sketchbook. This is another really simple drawing that I love the solidity of it.
It's very efficient too.
Yeah, another one with small amount of lines, super clean. Mm-hmm. This was an old exercise I did when I was studying. I think with Mike, there was a self-portrait something, mm-hmm. and I get this trying to get all the planes of the head to get it really 3D looking. Another quick one. I love this one too. Well, basically, I love all of this because they're on my love folder. So. Yeah. There's a video of this one too. Quick, ultra quick. I think this was 30 seconds or something. Mm-hmm. Something more pushed. Mm-hmm. And I think we're starting to get really pushy here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like really exaggerated stuff. This was a pose I want to get from OA, the series. I don't know if any one of you saw that series, OA. They have a whole dance movement, and this is one of the steps. So I want to get it. I don't know. I just like it. This was the first Force workshop I throw, official Force workshop I throw, and this was the drawing I did for like the flyer. So I keep this really close to my heart. This is another drawing from Trinda, kind of super exaggerated. You see, this is a 7-minute drawing. Take a look the amount of time this took me, but I was adding like shadow pattern here, like shadow shape, even getting a little bit of a face there. This is a 1-minute drawing. Another one. You see, in the 1-minute drawing, I just don't care. It's like, okay, well, actually I care because, but I don't care really much about defining anything. I just want to get the pose down.
It's great showing them, once you know force, form, and shape, how much you can get done in 1 minute, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like we talk about to the students in the forum that pay attention to the foot, that to get them like at least to understand what's happening, right? You see, is this not much of a foot, but we know that it's placed there, right? I can complete that if I have more time. This is me playing around. I think this was from draw this like live session. Oh, this is old. This is really old. I don't know if you can capture the color of this. Yeah, you can see the problem with the newsprint.
Yeah, it's darker.
It's really dark. I think this was also for like the premium workshops when we used to do projects. I think I did those there.
Yeah, I remember those. It were for exaggerating or pushing the pose, right?
Yeah. So I
Back then
kept
when we
them.
were students.
Yeah, when I was a student, I'm a student. There's no finish line. So this another one, quick, but this is from Trinda, a little more not finished, but getting more details in. Another pushed one, exaggerated. Oh, this is the same kind of thing I was talking before with this, but this is not graphite. This is China marker, actually a crayon of China marker. So this is get a little darker with this, but it's kind of the same thing. It's just drawing and brush, and you get this. Here's another quick one with few strokes. Another one. I keep going like this, and as I stop when I get some. This is Dorian, the model. I love this guy. He's like overweight, but has a lot of dynamic poses, and he knows what he's doing. It's like here, it's same thing, but exaggerated.
Yeah, it's cool.
Right. I love this one too. It's like adding a little prop. I always said when you draw something and it's interacting with a figure, get it there, because if not, she would be floating in the air, right? These are 3 minutes. I was trying like to get the tension in this rope here. I don't think I captured it, but I love the drawing, so I kept it. I really like the pose here, like she was like a kind of zombie thing, and I like how I got that. Again, rope in there, pushing, keeping. I didn't do what I said, like get the chair down here. My mistake. Same thing here. Should add a table.
Valerie is asking a question. She said, so there were a lot of different kinds of drawings in those smaller sketchbooks, like inking and caricatures. She said, I think of you force instructors as only doing the kind of work you have in classes and on Instagram, but do you actually do a lot of different kinds of artwork?
Yeah, as a teacher, we need to do things sometimes to explain, right? And maybe if you planning to see our different type of art drawings, when we teach, we cannot do art drawings because you won't understand what we're saying. So we need to divide things into small chunk for you to get an idea. And maybe the drawings you're seeing right now is kind of, here is me thinking how to solve these things. For example, this here, these lines I'm throwing here is for me to understand this arm is coming this way, right? Same thing with these lines here, it's going backward. So those things are the one we explain when we teach. So we need to change like the style in which we draw depending on what we're doing, right? If I get hired by, I don't know, SpongeBob, I'm going to need to draw SpongeBob. I cannot draw this, right? So yeah, you as an artist, you need to be able to draw whatever comes your way, right? I've
Yeah, I
been
think
teaching
Valerie,
for.
yeah, I think Valerie, sorry to interrupt, Diego. I
Go
think,
ahead.
Valerie, I think you'll get your answer. I think it's a great question, by the way, but I think you'll get your answer as you see the rest of the work today. And including Diego's, you saw there was like marker drawings, and he was doing caricatures of, people around him in Barcelona as an example. There were some tree drawings I saw in there, right? So yeah, I mean, at least I could say for myself, you'll see when I show you my sketchbooks that I'm all over the place, and all of you will probably get to see things you've never seen of mine before, or pretty rare. In fact, I almost tried to make mine not forceful, to tell you the truth. You'll see a lot of other stuff that most people have never seen, but even Diego, you saw there were a lot of other different things in there. So Diego, I hate to say this, but we're running out of time. We're about 7 or
Yeah,
8 minutes
well,
over now.
there's just a few more.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah,
Okay.
you can find many of these on my Instagram though.
Mhm.
So well, thank you for spending your time watching my drawings. I love
Yeah,
sharing
awesome.
those.
Yeah, some awesome, really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work.
Okay.
All
Well,
right,
thank
who's
you
up?
for letting me
Ritunj.
share this.
Yeah, thank you, Diego. That was fantastic.
All
And to
right.
Diego's point, just to close up what he was saying, smooth newsprint is the reason we use it is it's cheap, right? But it is not archival. The moment you put it in the sun, I've had drawings I really love that I left in the back of my car, for instance, and I had a hatchback. It killed them, right? Like it turned them so yellow and just destroyed the paper. Like sun is the enemy of smooth newsprint. Water is the enemy of any paper, but sun will kill it. And I've told some people have bought smooth newsprint drawings from me. I always tell them, put them in your house, but put them somewhere where direct sunlight won't get to it. It'll hold up pretty well. I have drawings that are 20, 30 years old on smooth newsprint, but if if direct sun gets on it, forget it. It's over.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
on to Ritunj.
All right, guys, how are you doing today? So before showing me, can you see? Can you pin it, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
So before even like showing my sketchbooks and everything, every drawing, there's like one thought that I want to share with you people is that you always have to keep in mind that artists are like pretty lazy with their writing. I felt like that. I'm pretty lazy with writing, and then there's like one exercise called like rate process where we have to like analyze the pose and write about it. I'll be honest with you, and I won't tell a lie. I really don't do that much. Okay, I did that, but I never do that like much. It's I try to keep it all in my mind, right? So explaining you this thought is like yeah, that artists don't have like a diary, okay, which you like many people write daily, but you have a diary where you can draw, and that's called like sketchbook, okay. And the plus point with artists is that you always you can draw your experience, okay. You can visually show it to others, okay, so they don't have to like read everything, and they will just like visually go for it, right? So that is one of the reasons that bring us to the force as well, that whenever you're drawing something lively, just go for its life, and if you're not going for its life, then why drawing a live thing, right? Like a live people or like animal or tree, right? So yeah, with that thought, let's jump right in. I want to be a little bit different, not as arranged, okay, and like as Diego's. Okay, he's he's like keeping his drawings like really clean and all. I'm not doing that. Okay, and one of the reasons that I just started, I'm not like really experienced and all. Right. So yeah,
So basically,
just
he's telling you he's young and disorganized.
really, thank you for clearing that up.
You're welcome.
So yeah. So let's start. So I want to, with the Valerie like asking that question is like perfect timing. So it's like, yeah, you force instructors to do a lot of other stuff. Yeah, definitely we do. And I want to like take you back in the time when I was in college and school time. Okay. So let's start off with that. This is my school drawings. Okay, when I was in 11th grade or 12th grade. Okay. So I was like told by my drawing instructor in school, and yeah, he wasn't that experienced at all, but yeah, he told me that anatomy is like really important, if you want to become like artist or something. So and the first artist that I was like really inspired is again like all the great masters like Leonardo and Michelangelo. So I was like looking at the drawings, I was like, yeah, this is how I should be like drawing in order to become good. Okay. So let's start off with these anatomy drawings. Okay, you can see like how detailed that is. And as I said, I hate writing, but just look at here. Lot of writing, right? So yeah, let's skim through it, right? You can see like all the different parts, like detailed rendering, cross hatching, trying to get the volume of it. Yep, you see like a hand. This was the study of like golden ratio and like the things they used in the paintings and like sketches. And you can see like the hand bone in there, hand bones, like the different studies, like different turnarounds. Okay. And yep, this is all hands, by the way. Um, so yeah, this is what I was talking about. It's like a diary. So I've done these things. They're not wasted. Okay, don't think of them as like, yeah, I did this drawing. Now I gotta like change my style or I gotta find my style. So whatever the previous things that I've done will be like totally wasted. No, never. Never think of it as like that. It's just like diary. Okay, so whenever, for example, even if I draw today, like for example, hands and forearms, whenever I want to revise it, okay, I just open these sketchbooks and it's like, yeah, oh yeah, this is it, and they're really not like wasted. It's like an investment time. Okay, so yep, let's skim through again. You see like a lot of detail. It's just like details. Okay. So this sketchbook is like from 2014. Okay, I would say, yeah, 2014 sketchbook. So yeah, 6 hours. Sorry, 6 years. 6 years in time. The ridge, the yeah, the ridge group in the forum that study the extensors. Yeah, a lot of writing again, detailed drawings. Yeah. So just in point, like to show you all of this is just like start of my journey. Okay, so I was fortunate enough, I would say it's a fortunate, uh, you know, fortunate chance. Just my instructor telling me that yeah, anatomy is important, and yes, even I don't like do like these type of detailed studies now. Okay, I love doing that. Again, I'm not saying that I don't like it, but I don't like really do these detailed drawings because I've already done it. Okay, so maybe in future, yeah, maybe I find an opportunity. Like if I get the time, I was like, yeah, let's go back to it again. Okay, it's always good to live old days. I would say. So yeah, let's start off with the another sketchbook, which is from I guess 2017. So yeah, it's a big one. This is an A3 sketchbook. So and you would see again like rendering, okay, because I was like literally following it. The more rendered, the more hyper realistic I can get. The more better I would be. That I was thinking at that time. Okay, so You can see like the eye drawing, okay, the torso drawing, and anatomy. Anatomy, the love for human body, I would say, not specifically anatomy. It actually stays from me, from my college time or from my school time.
So you have
So-
a new nickname now, Ritunj.
Mhm.
Valerie has now labeled you. Oh no, it was Daniel. Leonardo da Varun instead of Da Vinci.
I feel like teasing me from Instagram.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Swendlin just said Ritunj Angelo.
Yeah, Ritunj Angelo, exactly.
So I don't know if you want to like censor this out, but yeah, I'd really enjoying like these type of drawings, just like different weird topics, how like babies and all. As again, I said, I was inspired by Leonardo. So what type of different weird studies that he was doing, that I was just wait a second. Yeah. Here. So here we come up with the skull study. Okay, like a skull study here, right? So again, detail like rendering, the comparison between the skulls. Yeah. So yeah, I was like literally in the details. Literally
I think
following
what it
that
shows
thought.
is, early on, you already had a really strong ability to see. You've always been able to see very clearly. So here you are studying maybe anatomy and bones and stuff, but as an artist, you had very clear sight, on your side.
Yeah, yeah.
We saw that he was 4 already. When he was 4, he already have a good eye.
Yeah, exactly. Bionic eye.
Portion of. So here a Michelangelo drawing, a copy of Michelangelo's drawing. So I was just like copying his strokes and all, like trying to render out the baby. Here's a drapery study. You want to see that? Drapery, like really detail, a monster. Just with, yeah, I was like trying, all the things that I can, like drawing monsters, drawing drapery, really an incomplete drawing here. All right, again, drapery. So yeah, trying to study all those things, trying to get like lights and shades on and, correct and render it out, and an incomplete one. So after this is blank. Okay, this is not like anything in here. So let's jump to some papers from 2018. Okay. So again, some horse. These are like, again, you can see I'm rendering things out, writing so much. After this, I promise, like after this year, it's gonna be a drastic change. So yeah,
Did you enjoy doing this? Was this all fun?
Yeah, it's fun. I won't tell a lie. This is all fun.
Mhm. Cool.
This thing. It stuck with my mind. That I want to like take the knowledge. It doesn't matter if it's whatever I'm doing in the future. I just like want to get better. And this is like a cliche thought, and some people might fight me over with this and maybe kill me for this thought. But I just want to be the best, and I don't know. It's just with always, it's natural. Even in my college time, I was just like, I want to be even good than a teacher, right? Who's teaching me. So I'm trying to like always find their weak points. It's like, yeah, whatever is something that they don't do, and I can be better at that. But that's a clean competition. I really like respect them and all. It's not like something like that. A skull study here. So yeah, as I said, I would whenever I just like want to get the structures out or something, this is like really detailed drawing, so I can just like get back to this paper, okay? And I have like so many of them on my walls, okay, like stick. So I just like want to get the feel out of the like studio where I like a lot of drawings, and I can just like look up at my wall. It's just like, yeah, that was the thing that I'm missing in here, so I can quickly revise them. This is one of the models on Instagram. Again, I forget his name, but yeah, like a muscle study of him. Oh, his name is John. Yeah, I remember it now. He's like a big old man with a beard.
He's ripped.
Yeah. Some knee studies. Yeah, as you can see, it's like sometimes I'm experimenting with things. Okay, so it's like, yeah, these are not like really proper like light and shadows, but I was just experimenting with some materials that they don't seem to work very well. Yeah, femur studies, Oh yeah. As you can see, it's like totally not a very good experiment one. I like this one. It depicts like a motion. Okay, like the motion of the figure from this point to this point and down here, and you can see like multiple different drawings. Okay, it's like a light box animation, right? So yeah, and never knew what type of ideas you will get in future, like looking at these drawings again. So yeah, you can see like the same model like John, okay, from Instagram. He's like a big tattoo over his body, like on his scapula, like a person is sitting in seat. Okay, it's like yeah, and yeah, a horse drawing again. So let's get back to let's move forward with
One of
drawings from.
Frank on the chat was asking, do you ever use fixative on any of these drawings? Do you protect them because they're all done in graphites and stuff? Like
Yeah,
hairspray, as he mentioned, is like a cheap way of fixing them.
yeah, I do it. Yeah, I do.
Mhm.
Always fix those drawings.
Mhm.
So in the same year, like 2017, I started, working with, not working with, but just trying to study force. So these are drawing from the beginning. You can see like, yeah, I'm just like throwing force all over the place here. So yeah, I mean, you can see like they're just scribbles. Yeah, like random scribbles. One of the
Nice
things
scribbles. Nice scribbles.
That's what I was thinking.
not as
Just random scribbles.
not as good as yours, but yeah, it's okay. So one of the things I like about these type of sketchbooks, you can see it's like really cheap. It's like you can buy like 3 sketchbooks in $1. Okay, these are like so cheap. But I'm fortunate enough to like get this paper app because it's smooth again. Okay. So it's not available here in my like local stores. That smooth newsprint that we talked about. Okay. So yeah, I was telling that one of the things I like about these sketchbooks is that I'm having like confidence in there. Okay, even they just like suck. I mean, yeah, they suck at this point, but yeah, I just like them. Just throwing force all the place, trying to get something out of that confidence. I was thinking. Okay, so one of the weird habits of mine is just leaving this page out and like drawing here. Okay, like every new page I'll be drawing here. Then I flip the sketchbook. It's just like something like this, and then I like used to draw here. So yeah, this is one of my weird habits. So if you see any drawing like flipped over, so that's yeah, all I can see here. Okay. So yeah, like as you can see, like I'm trying to get experimenting. These are like all the experimental sketchbook. This is not any of them are like final drawings. I never like post these stuff, never. So
I
this is
wanted
You
just
people
took
to be aware of the amount of drawings
yeah.
Ritunj has done in like I don't know how long it took to fill up that sketchbook, Ritunj.
this is
It's
like
like
as I
20
told
minutes or
just like 2 or 3 days would be like enough to fill out this. I think it's like 100 pages or something. So yeah.
and when a student comes and said, okay, so I need to do 10 drawings for each pose, and yeah, no, you need to do like 2000. It's like
In a sketchbook.
yeah, fill up sketchbook.
Yeah, so
I think what's
and
impressive is you took a $1 sketchbook or whatever it costs, and you just made it worth more like $10,000.
Yeah, indeed.
It's pretty amazing.
now at this point when I look them, it's like, yeah, this is all is behind, this is what goes behind. Yeah, so again, trying to get everything out. One of the things you will see is like I never fear because again, that these drawings are the sketchbook is cheap, right? Sketchbooks is really really cheap. You can buy like 3 sketchbooks in $1. So I'm really like never fear to just scratch them out. I like this drawing by the way. Maybe I try to post it ever.
So I don't want to rush him, Ritunj, but we're definitely going over time.
All right. So okay, I have like 2-3 minutes more to show
Yeah,
fine.
sure.
So yeah, like many of these sketchbooks, like they're in my back door. All right. So let's jump into last year, like the present year and last year. This is one of the drawings again from the Mike's workshop, by the way. So Thank you, Mike, for this awesome post from your workshop. Yeah, so you can see like I'm more focused on ideas. Okay, just like throwing there. It's like a little bit more organized, like in ideas, in terms of ideas, right? So you'll see like more drawings like this. Uh, again, yeah, as you can see, like I don't keep. I'm like really kind of that person that we don't care. So yeah, some drawings here. These are all forged drawings, by the way. Again, with this cheap smooth newsprint, you know, you can experiment as much as you can, okay, without getting feared of it. So yeah, as you can see, like scale, I was experimenting with scale. Oh, this is one of the drawings I did this year for the for a mentor student. Okay, so yeah, this is all for the mentor people. Drawing some beers, trying out a new pencil that I got. Okay, so it's like a charcoal pencil, so that's why you can see it's like all smudged up. Okay. Yeah, drawing gorilla. Yeah, you can see like you can experiment with lines, you know. So it's like with the fur, it's like really soft, but with the belly, like it's hard, it's skin. Okay, something like that. Yeah, again, one of the drawings for a mentor student. Okay.
That's cool. I love the hands.
Yeah, with the hands, it's like. So yeah, these drawings are. This is my first iteration. This is one is my second one. Okay, as you can see, it's like more good, like more better than this one. Yeah, drawings for the like a beer. I don't know if it's it feels like a beer. It's some like some weird creature.
I hope you guys, you can see we can keep moving on forever like
Yeah,
this. We can stay like 4 hours each one of us showing drawings,
Exactly.
drawings. And we need to
It's,
stop us.
yeah, this is just like 1% of it. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna
It's
show
all
you
awesome. Beautiful.
this one, the one like with a little bit of rendering and all that stuff. But yeah, so we can keep going, you know, forever. So I'm gonna hand it off to Swendlin now, and hope you like my sketchbook tour. Thanks.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Let's see. Let me share. Okay, you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me go full screen. And for the sake of time, let me jump a little bit ahead here. So I picked the sketchbook in particular because I started using it all the way back in 2010 or 2011. And just at the beginning of this year, I picked it up again and continued drawing in it. And, you know, it was interesting for myself as I was recording the video to see, you know, the difference in the quality of my drawings, you know. So this was shortly after I graduated from game design and development. And before that, I studied industrial design for 2 years. So as you can see here, I was like very obsessed with form and structure, you know, so that's how I analyze things, you know, breaking it down in simple forms, tube boxes, cylinders. And I was studying, you know, the usual instructors like Philpoo and Bridgman, Loomis, and just practicing, especially form. You know, I was really, like I said, obsessed with form. So you can see here a lot of figure studies, and interestingly enough, I saw that I also was experimenting with Medusa, which
Oh,
we
that's
just yeah, we just did an awesome project, which we will reveal soon to you guys. So yeah, a lot of study of structures, you know, notes for projects. This was also for a project that I had. So again, a lot of forms, you know, I was just like building further on what I was taught at industrial design, because that was actually my first formal education drawing. I studied there for 2 years, and I had 2 wonderful instructors which taught me how to draw in 3-dimensional space, you know, no erasers, no rulers, either you got it right or you drew it again. So it really helped me build confidence in drawing, you know. And after I finished school, I just continued working. As you can see here, I was studying a lot of man-made objects also, and really took the time to break things down and measure and make sure that the structure was super solid. Lots of head drawings also. Like I think the human head was one of the most challenging things for me as when I started with figure drawing. I was always like trying to figure out like how the heck to make a head work, you know. And what did the job for me was primarily understanding the skull, like really going and studying the skull and understanding how all the features fit on top of it in the anatomy. And only then did it start to make sense, you know, to the point where I could let go of, you know, the usual head drawing methods that you see out there and just freely draw it, because I understood it clearly, you know, how it's put together. Some anatomy studies, not at the level of Da Vinci like Ritunj did, but I did my best.
Mini Ritunj, mini Leonardo. I think what's interesting to me about what you said at the beginning of this is you had a sketchbook that was only like half done, right? And you stopped and then came back to it. I guess, like, why did you stop with this sketchbook and then what returned you to it?
Well, that's a good question. I think, let me see, it was all the way back then. I think I just, because I used to buy a lot of sketchbooks, so at a certain point, I just transitioned to like a smaller one that I could carry around more easily. And I think when I moved last year, this is one of the sketchbooks that I kept. Like there were some that I just decided to throw away because I don't use them anyway. And I was like, hey, this is like, you know, 3/4 of the page that are still blank, so I can use it, you know.
It's cool.
Yeah, so again, a lot of figure studies, costumes. And back here, I was really like training to design for video games. So I was analyzing a lot of armor and, you know, different time periods and all that kind of stuff, as you can see here. These are all for a project, and at the sides, a couple of face sketches of one of the characters that I did around the beginning of this year. More costume studies.
And these sketches are from, like, which year?
These are from 2011, 2012, I think.
Oh, really old.
Yeah, these are really old. Yeah, these are.
Yeah, you weren't born there.
Exactly. I know he's saying really old. I'm like, that's not that long ago.
How old were you there, Ritunj? Like 11?
Right.
12, I guess. Yeah, these are amazing.
Yeah, so a lot of structure, you know. And this one, I just went over it again, I think, just to get some rhythms done. Here again, more structure, rendering. Some submarine studies. I think these were from for a project. Man, and to the point that came up earlier, you know, oftentimes I think aspiring artists don't realize the amount of work that went into, you know, developing our skills to the point it is right now, you know. Like, look at all this work, and this is just like 1% of everything I've done over the years.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. You know, this is all the stuff that's hidden from the world that's sitting on our bookshelves or in a box somewhere, right? And
Yeah.
you know, when you guys are out there frustrated that, oh man, I'm not learning fast enough, there is no like trick. You know, it takes thousands of drawings and many years, you know, to get there. So
yeah, and here's where I started this year, and you can see a drastic change in the aesthetic. You know, all of a sudden it's more like shape plays a major part in it, and I think that's one of the major reasons that I was attracted to force, because finally I saw this drawing method that managed to incorporate shape like seamlessly into the drawing process, which I really miss from other drawing methods. It was a lot like structure based, and the two downsides of that, I would say, is that the gesture got lost in cases, and also shape doesn't, for me at least, it didn't really fit well. What's happening all of a sudden?
I don't know if it's the video or your Wi-Fi, or if it's the
It's a
movie.
smooth newsprint, and the sun got it.
It's bumpy newsprint. Yes, very, very, very bumpy newsprint. Don't draw on that. That would be very difficult.
Seems like it's stuff. Let me see if I exit.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Couldn't take the full screen anymore. Yeah, so again, here you see like really, and one of the other things to notice is, before I was drawing a lot, but I wasn't designing as much, and here I transitioned to really design and start playing with shapes and proportions also to communicate my ideas, and I think it's something to be aware of, like learn to draw is one thing, but there's a step beyond that, which is learn to design, which really allows you to kind of like Mike says, drawing with your opinion, what are your ideas about what you're looking at, instead of just plainly being able to copy or duplicate reality to a certain degree.
There's a question in the chat, like, what is the red ink in your sketches? And I asked it.
Or is it red ink? You had some red drawings. Is that ink or was that graphite earlier, or or?
That's just pencil. That's just graphite indeed.
And it seems like you answered Raphael's questions. He said something about what makes you like more stylized or more than any other style. It seems like you're pushing on the shape thing, I guess, is really where like the push and stylization occurs.
Yeah, I would say it's primarily shape and proportions.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So the sketchbook covers like a decade of time, right? It's like a 10-year change.
Yeah, indeed. And again, it was interesting for me to see like the drastic jump in skill, and how far like the force drawing method has taken me. And some One Punch Man to round it off. All right, so that's it for me. Any other questions in the chat?
No, that's it. Thank you, Swendlin. That was great.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. Let's see. Let me get us
time to the nuclear bomb.
I'm going to try to blow this whole show up as much as I can.
Yeah.
Let's see.
There are many sketchbooks from Mike I saw that are ultra amazing, and you never imagine he was doing that thing. But they're amazing. Because you think about Mike like the Force guy and drawing all the Force figures, but he has an amazing on locations drawings that are super cool.
Well, thank you for saying that, Diego. That's actually what I'm going to show you guys, to Diego's point precisely, is I guess maybe shock you a little bit in that Valerie was asking before, have you guys drawn stuff besides, Force? And I think even maybe more than the other guys shared today, and probably in part, I think, because I'm the oldest of the group here, is I've been all over the place in the last, 30 years, drawing in all different kinds of styles. Even when I was drawing Force, there's always me experimenting on the side and trying to see where I can take myself and make sure I'm able to draw everything, right? You don't want to just learn how to draw the figure. You want to draw environments and props and vehicles and, and all that stuff, and just keep pushing yourself as far as you can, to Ritunj's point, right? To become the best you that you could possibly become. So this was, we had a meeting last week about what do we want to do this week for the video, and we came up with a sketchbook idea, and I was a little like, oh God, it's not going to be easy, because I knew mine were buried like in my storage in the basement, like in these crates, and I had to like go in and dig all this stuff out. But I thought it was a really great idea, and I thought it'd be fun to share with you guys. So you could see this is in this plastic crate here. You'll notice also that the sketchbooks are numbered, not all of them, but this one in here actually goes to number 16. You can see there's some Boba Fett, Star Wars toys, and other stuff that's in this crate along with it. So what I did for the sake of time is I have about 5 or 6 videos I'm going to share with you. I'm not going to play them out. I'm going to scrub them so we can go more quickly through them. And I'm going to show you how this all started. Now, where I started with sketchbooks, quite honestly, was my freshman year of college. Before that, I really didn't have a sketchbook. I would say I was doodling. I remember actually I doodled a lot on paper my dad brought home from his job. Like he would have paper that had the letterhead of his company on it, and I would flip it over and I would draw on that paper. So it wasn't until freshman year of school where the teacher said, like, you have to carry your sketchbook around with you all the time. And I was like, okay. So a lot of these books that you see with what is called perfect binding, that's like the squared off binding with this weave at the end, that's called perfect bound. And they're really big. They're bigger than 8.5 by 11. They're much larger. They're almost like tabloid size sheets of paper, very large sketchbooks. You can see I went back and I numbered them. So this goes up to 16 and this is number 5. And I opened up this first crate and I was like, oh my God, where are all these other sketchbooks? You'll see as I scan over, there's another crate filled with sketchbooks that are in a plastic bag to, try to protect them. Personally, nowadays, I never use perfect bound sketchbooks if I can get around it. I always use spiral binding because I like the fact that you can lay the book flat and draw across the binding as well without that big bump from the perfect bound sketchbook. So personally, I recommend going with sketchbooks that are spiral. So I'm going to just crank into this here. I grab this and you can see like this is torn, even the binding is torn and stuff over here, right? And I want to just show you like, here's what it looked like. This is me freshman year, right? So you get a little bit of my past in here as well. And the other guy said this also really well. I think your sketchbook is your history, right? Like I look back at these and I remember drawing this stuff, which kind of amazes me. I'm like, wow, this really takes me back, right? Now look at, these are me drawing sketches out of my head. And these are me looking at reference. I was still into like Dungeons and Dragons. And when I was a teenager, I read this series called Dragonlance that was still affecting me. So I can copy things relatively well, if I wanted to, as you can see. And these were from other drawings and paintings. But look, when I did it on my own, it was like god awful, right? I think I airbrushed this in the sketchbook, right? I'm putting myself out here, I have to say, with showing you guys this stuff. But this is how it started, right? Like I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. So some of this is from reference, some of this is from my imaginations. You can see my cat sitting here. This is one of my girlfriends from college, right? This drawing, here's a drawing of a tree. Mostly graphite. Here's some charcoal, so you can see it's really messy and dirty. Drawing models, right? Some from photographs, stuff from my imagination, markers, pencil, right? And this is how it all began, lots of notes. This is all freshman year of school. I look back at this, quite frankly, unicorns actually in there, God help me. But, it's like I actually got in. Look at this terrible face drawing, right? So this is how it all starts, right? It's the beginning of it all. Let me, I'm going to get the next video up for you guys here. So that's where it began. And then this is the next sketchbook. This is number 5 I'm going to take you to now. Okay. So this one, I'm in my, I think, junior or senior years. This is a self-portrait. Yeah, this is my senior year, 1992. Look at how much had changed in 4 years, right? So 4 years of school, my skill level was drastically different. I could definitely not have drawn like this in my freshman year of school, as you guys just saw, right? What you're also going to see in here, which is really interesting from a personal standpoint, is you're going to see me practicing drawings, and some of these actually made it to my first Disney portfolio. So a lot of these drawings in here, like drawings of animals and stuff, was me ramping up to try to get to Disney, right? Like those dog drawings there, this is me saying, okay, I'm going to try to get in, right? This cat drawing. I had a friend of mine who always worked in blue and then black on top. So I was drawing hands and feet, right? All these,
You
like,
got a little mad
drawings.
with the dog face, previous dog.
yeah, he wasn't too happy. These, ironically on Stan's channel, right? They just looked at some Heinrich Clay sketchbooks, and I was looking at clay at the time myself, and I was drawing a lot in ballpoint to just try to really feel out form, right? So there's some ballpoint pen stuff, blue line stuff, right? I'm just a lot of mixed media. I'm trying to like track form. You could see this is me drawing off of a different a comic book artist that I really like. So I was studying styles at the same time. Just a big mishmash of things going on here. But see, with the ballpoint pen, I was trying to roam around and feel out form. You can see there's an elephant drawing, some rhinos, there's some tight, you know, there's a lion down there, right? Like shaking its head. This is where, yeah, this is where it really started to like happen. I think the looseness started happening here for me, you know, this sense of freedom to just kind of try to move around and figure things out, right? And some drawings are better, some are worse, you know, I'm kind of all over the place. I'm not consistent at this point, you know. Some stuff turns out okay and some doesn't. I like this line drawing. This shows up a couple of times. I remember going back to this reference, this photograph, and trying to study this lion, right? So this is what was going on senior year for me. And these are, here's that line again. These are huge sketchbooks. They're pretty big. They're not the 8.5 by 11. They're like the size up from that, right? So here I'm flipping page by page. That's the better one, I would say, of the two. So I was doing this stuff in a practice. Now I had seen a friend's portfolio that got him in. And to tell you the truth, this isn't really my style in a way. I was trying to mimic his mixed with a little bit of me. And to tell you guys the truth about it, I didn't get in that first time. You know, they looked at this and they were like, well, it needs more, you know, you need more form in here. And that led me to more pen and ink drawings and so on and so on. And you'll see more of that coming up. But this is where I was, right? This is like halfway through senior year. And like I said, it was hit and miss. Fortunately, you know, I had another year after that, which is what finally got me into Disney. But at this point, you know, I wasn't there yet, right? All right, so that takes us to that sketchbook. Now I'm going to jump ahead quite a bit. We're going to go to sketchbook 16 here. Let's see, where are you? Here we go. So here's sketchbook 16. Whoops. Give me 1 second. There. You can see me taking this out of the crate. Okay, here we go. This takes me, so I graduated school in 92. I believe this book is from around 2000. I'm looking in here if I have it. Usually what I do in my sketchbooks is I would put the date on the front page, either in the inside cover or over here. At this point, I also used to write lots of quotes. So you can see there's all different artist quotes in here. Sometimes it's just me talking to myself, you know, like I would be like, I have to pay attention to this. This was a quote by Goethe, right? Which is, if we can conceive it and we can believe it, then we can achieve it. I was trying to create a lot of my own intellectual properties, my own cartoon ideas at this point. So this has a lot of me developing like concepts. And this is much later. I'd already been to Disney. I'd already worked in the game industry. I'd already been in animation. This is me now trying to create ideas, right? So there's a lot of writing in this book mixed with drawing. You can see like this, like I said, there's lots of me writing things. Sometimes I'm watching a movie and I'm writing concepts. Sometimes I'm doodling. This stuff's doodle, but you'll see there's lots of charts in here and circling of things. There's flow charts, right? So I'm using my sketchbook not only to draw with, but I'm also trying to conceive concepts. These were character designs I was doing for one of the properties I was developing, right? And there's like ship designs and technology. You can see this guy is floating in this liquid. It's almost like Luke in Empire Strikes Back, right? He's attached to this machine, right? So all kinds of weird stuff is in the sketchbook. But I have to say, this was a really great time for me. I loved this time period. Just having fun coming up with concepts. It's one of the things I have to say I miss the most is just coming up with ideas. This was me looking at Carlos Meglia. It was one of my favorite artists. So this is me looking at how he was shape designing. I love that gorilla head. So every so often I was jumping back and forth against other stuff. Here you can see me boarding, right? So these are these cars in this race. So I would like board out little sequences, right? Here's some of the characters and the worlds that I was thinking about. Lots of boards again, right? I created these like little animatics for my cartoon ideas. So that's why you're seeing a lot of boarding here. See, literally thumbnail storyboards, right? So that's that sketchbook, right? Okay, let's see. The next one I want to show you is right around this time, I took a class with an instructor called David Pasalacqua. The way I found out about him was through many of my friends that I had made at Disney Animation, and I really loved their drawings. There was like a certain mindset that was coming out of these friends and out of this class. So I said, you know what? I think I have to take this class, basically, right? Hold on, sorry, I'm getting it loaded up here. And fortunately, right around 2000, I had the actual opportunity to do so. So I'm going to share with you this book. This, you could see, I really started now going into the spiral bound books, by the way. So this class was all like on location drawing, and it really like expanded, I have to say, my mindset to being more aggressive on location and just how far you can push your boundaries on location. So the class took place across New York City and Disney World, and I was in New York. So, you know, half of it was pretty simple, and then you actually had to fly yourself down for the second part of the class. These are drawings from New York City and the Museum of Natural History. Again, you could see me boarding. Sometimes I'm just coming up with ideas. This is Museum of Natural History. Lots of ink work, mostly ink, right? This is the Intrepid in New York. This is St. Patrick's Cathedral. So this is me drawing one of the other students in the church. And what I really want to share with you here is I started making these larger and larger drawings, which is kind of a trademark of this class, was expanding the perspective and the length of the work itself. So you can see I have, these are drawn on extra sheets of paper that get taped together, and then I folded them up into the sketchbook, right? So this is Disney World now, right? This is probably Epcot would be my guess. And you can see that all of a sudden, these are like these giant pans right here. I'll hit play just so you can see me slowly move across here, right? So this is like, you know, figuring out how to place people in perspective, drawing all the architecture, and really using the world as sort of an open sourced encyclopedia for yourself, right? And Epcot's great for that, right? Because it's an encyclopedia you could basically like walk through, right? That you're drawing in, right? So you can see me unfolding all these like drawings in here, right? So here's another one. This is Norway at Disney World, right? I like this double page spread. I think I've posted some of these on Instagram. This is France and Norway. So here's some of the architecture. This is India, I believe it was, in Norway. So I was playing with texture for the wall over here, but here's all the perspective. So like I said, it was interesting. It was really a way of challenging myself, of taking what I knew about perspective and drawing the human figure and trying to bring that all together in a very aggressive manner with drawing on location, you know. And I love framing things. I love composition and design. I teach actually a lot of composition and design on drawingforce.com. And, you know, I just love getting things in boxes and shapes. This is a happy accident. I just want to show you this drawing right here. So I drew this crowd in this box. And then afterwards, I happened to draw a person holding balloons. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to attach it to this drawing because it makes it look like they're giant balloon heads, basically. So just sometimes things weird like that happen in the sketchbook where, you know, you take one moment in time and attach it to another one and you have a whole new thing, right? So here again, here's crowds of people. This is graphite on the bottom and this is pen on top and marker.
There's a question in the chat, Mike, about what kind of ink is that?
Lots of times these were either like markers or brush. Sometimes I actually used a crow quill, right? Which is, you know, the sort of, it doesn't have any ink. You have to dip it in a bottle of ink, basically, right? A crow quill where it's got the two prongs and the ink is inside of it. I was drawing with crow quill quite a bit, which would give me a lot of great like line quality. And then sometimes it was marker or brush, which is changing up the texture of the strokes, right? So you can see I fold these up. It's like my little James Bond sketchbook. They're all folded up in here. This is charcoal in my sketchbook, right? So this kind of worked out too. This is a happy accident in a sense. I drew one of the other students. This is at MGM Studios at Disney World. And there's a pattern on the floor. And then I drew these two guys afterwards later in the park, and the umbrella happened to match up into the pattern. I kind of like how those two puzzled into one another and interlocked, right? You know, again, pushing perspective, pushing location. Notice the variation in line quality, even in the clothing relative to the people, relative to the ship, right? Like trying to push texture into the drawings. This was the Indiana Jones area. I like this guy over here with the Mickey Mouse hat, and I was exaggerating the shape of his head. You can see me playing, like Swendlin was talking about, playing with shapes of people, this little person versus this tall person. So I'm on the fly trying to caricature while drawing live. This was Epcot. I started to come up with some movie ideas because the front end of Epcot has all this like science information. So I was like thinking about movie posters. That was China over here that I'm going through. So Epcot, you know, you've got the countries at a different part. This is Animal Kingdom, right? So you can see a whole bunch of gorilla drawings here on the left, and these are different environments in Animal Kingdom, right? Different materials. That's also just like a brown pencil or like a Conte or something like that. I picked brown because it felt like it matched Animal Kingdom. It was like the dirt and the texture of the space, right? And then the challenge was, here you are back at MGM Studios, and it's done in a very, God, I just blanked on the art style. Like not Art Nouveau, yeah, like an Art Nouveau aesthetic, right? So I was pushing like I noticed I changed materials to help me with the abstraction of that and to really try to push further into that space, right? Okay, hold on, let me see if I can go back. So here you can see everything I was thumbnailing, I was pushing into really clean black and white shape design, right? This is all done with pen and marker again. So very different, right? All of a sudden there's like constantly contrast, and it's me stretching my boundaries as much as I possibly can across these different aesthetics. I have to say, this is all the stuff that I think really also helped me become an art director later. Is you guys know me for forest and forest drawing, but I've been art directing in the video game industry for over 20 years now. And it's knowing how all these things are broken down and what makes a style or an art movement, right? And I think you going through it yourself is how you get there. So here's my bomb. Okay, my bomb of sketchbooks. This drawing is about 10 feet long, I would say. You could see here, I'll play this out. You'll see me unfolding it and unfolding it. My wife's actually recording here. I had to call her down so I can open this thing up. I'm on my driveway, by the way, with these crates. So you can get a sense of just how big this drawing is. And this isn't the biggest drawing I have, by the way. I have another one that's on fax paper that's longer than this. But you can see it's just me drawing this giant scene right near the UK in Disney World at Epcot Center, and all the people in that scene that I kept capturing, trying to fill them into this space, right? And, you know, like I said, I tucked this whole thing in and folded in there. You can see the black lamp and the tree there, me trying to play with composition at the same time and trying to do it at this scale. It was pretty challenging. And plus, just to add salt to the wound here, it was in the middle of the summer. It was hot, really hot. So you're sweating the whole time you're drawing, trying to find any little corner of shade that you could possibly find while you're going through this work. Okay, so spiral bound sketchbooks, right? And, you know, be aware that you can take other paper and do bigger drawings, fold them into those books. So you've got this diary. I taught in China in 2003, 2004. And I came across this book, right? So in the Asian countries, this is a pretty normal thing. Like people write notes, right? In Chinese or Japanese, they'll typically write vertically. So the sketchbooks are in this shape. And you can actually buy these now here. I think they're even on Amazon. It's kind of like an accordion style sketchbook, right? So it looks like this. Look at how it opens, right? And I was like, oh my God, the new level of sketchbook for me, right? So what I loved about it is, you know, you can draw just from panel to panel. And by the way, if you put it horizontally, right, it's almost like film in proportion, right? Even longer, right? So you can draw stuff across these seams, right? Or draw page to page, or you can decide how long you want a composition to be, right? So these are me doing studies in China. Here you can see I went across a couple of folds and created a bigger image, right? So this is one of the palaces. I think this stamp I got made actually is my name in Chinese. It means like, and it meant like long stride, ironically, because I'm 6'2". So I thought that was kind of funny. And this is me drawing with washes and with pen again, and I'm drawing people at this location, right? But I love these. I love these sketchbooks. Like, you know, this is a long time ago, and I still look out for these. When I was in Japan last year, I went and I bought a whole bunch again. One of my friends in Japan even sent me one because he knew just how much I adored these books. By the way, I love that little sketch. This one right here on the right, this is LAX, right, New York City, the airport. I love just the simplicity, the composition of this, of the tower and the building and then the plane juxtaposed over it. And you can see me writing here. I always write notes about stuff that's happening at the time. It says 5 hours later than schedule. And then I sat on the runway for an additional 40 minutes. And I remember being late because my family was in California waiting to pick me up, and it went like late into the night. I remember for them to actually come and get me. My daughters are like half asleep and exhausted because of the time difference and it running into late evening for me to land. Okay, so that's that. I got only a couple more videos here, so hopefully you'll stick around.
Mike, what's the name of those sketchbook? People are asking.
I don't know what this is called. You know what? If I figure it out, I'll put a link into the. I will put a link into the into the write-up for the video. I think they're like for writing poems or diaries, like I said, in some of the Asian countries, So yeah, and in fact, what's interesting, for the Art of Mulan book, right? When Mulan, the animated film, came out, they actually came out with a version of it in a sketchbook like this. There is an actual Art of Mulan book, not the really big one, but they have a smaller one that was in this format, which I happen to have, which I thought was really cool, right? Because they pushed into the culture to create that art of the book, which was just so clever, I thought, and amazing of them. Okay, let's see. The next one I want to share with you is, I have more of the reportage I want to show you, but this one is a lot of the color work I did. So I had 2 sketchbooks going on at that time. This one is on thicker paper. So here I did a lot of like my watercolor painting, right? So this was in Africa at Disney World. And you can see trying to create shapes and compositions. And these are all the people that worked at the park walking around. I was looking at patterns a lot, right? So lots of different patterns at the same time. Here I was trying to design posters for the park. You can see this one up in the right corner here. I was trying to take the idea of, in Africa, I felt like I really started understanding how Africans were taking patterns from animals and using that like towards their masks and their clothing and so on. So I was using that patterning to then try to design the posters, and I was starting to understand how that patterning in Africa was coming from the animals, right? So this is me like playing with that, right? You can see I'm trying to do these like poster designs over here. Here's these are crow quill drawings again in marker, and some of it's just ink and brush. So this is just some of the architecture that's there. Some of the birds, here's a tourist, right, looking at the monkeys, and here's guys playing these drums, and the tourists are watching. This is wax, by the way. I think the red was wax and the black is ink, right? Ink with a brush, right? So this is in Japan. These are guys playing drums. You can see I'm going for they're almost like logos or something, right? Like really iconic. Here I'm drawing with ink, but I'm dealing with one of those really flat nibbed, almost calligraphic like pens. So that's what I'm doing those in. This is China again. So these are Dr. Martin's dies, and I did the drawing of them with the actual eyedropper, right? So I was actually drawing with the tip of an eyedropper as I was sketching out the architecture, which is what gives it this feel up here with the peaks of the buildings. And then this is a gold marker that I was drawing people with on top of the architecture, right? To almost like ghosts walking around, right? You see all the tourists, but I was mainly focused on the architecture itself, as you can see. Here I was playing with the shape and the design of the statues, right, with the gold pen, and you can see the architecture again in the background of China. I love doing this, by the way. If I could just, get paid to do this and sit outside all day and draw and travel around the world, this is it. Like, this is amazing. I just have so much fun doing this. Right, here's, again, this was Italy, I believe. So I was looking at the curlicueness that was happening there. They had these 2 actors dressed up. There's a certain holiday there. That's this big festival in Italy. So they have people dressed up in these costumes. So I was drawing them. All right, so that takes me out of Disney. These are bear drawings I did at the zoo with a really big flat tipped marker, and I was shooting for the silhouette. So there you could see line. And then here you could see me just sketching out the shapes with this flat marker very quickly, right? This is one is in charcoal. Here's some pen and just marker. Here's
Those
some
marker
zebra.
drawings are giant. Sorry to disturb you, but I gotta say it.
Thank you. Here's this wild boar that you saw on the side over here. This is also with like a chisel tipped marker, so I can get really fat to thin line very quickly. I love composition, as I was saying before. There's a rhino, right? So this is, I don't know where, oh, this is Pier 39 in San Francisco, all right? So this is me sketching on location. These are more recent. This isn't that long ago. And this is not that long ago either. This was at Disneyland. All right, I'm almost done. So that's all the reportage work. I wanted to show you this. This is, I had a bunch of animation paper from Disney when I worked there because it's amazing to draw on. I just tried to look this up for you guys to see if you could still buy it. There was a company called Cartoon Color that used to make this and they went out of business. The brand, the company paper brand, I think was called Ingram's. And you can get 12 or 16 field, but this paper is excellent. It's archival and it's got a really great smooth finish on it. It's not too expensive and you can get it by the ream. And I had this paper sitting around. So I went to Kinko's and I bought foam core there. I had them punch the foam core and I bought these metal rings at Kinko's and I basically made my own sketchbook out of the paper. All right, so that's what you can see here. It's on my lap and you can see it's got animation hole punching at the bottom of it, right? And this is just, again, me, doodling on this paper. What you're seeing here is these are my preliminary notes for the Force Anatomy book. So this is how I start when I'm writing. I start thinking about how does all this fit together? How am I going to show this? How am I going to color code this? What's the structure of the book going to be? You could see me doodling here my visual thoughts about how the whole thing is going to work. What are the steps I want to take? Here you can see in the anatomy book how I actually broke down all the different parts of the body. And I would do this over and over again, and I would keep challenging myself. Is this the right way to break it up? Is this the right way to break it up? How many chapters is this book going to be? Right, so this is how I would try to problem solve my way through it. You can see me here drawing parts of the anatomy and numbering the muscles, naming things, and I would like doodle for a little bit. This is Ewan McGregor in that movie that wasn't that hot called something of the Giants. Oh, Giant Slayer, the name of it's right there. Jack the Giant Slayer. All right, so a couple of doodles in here, more anatomy, caricatures of faces. One of the jobs I was at dealt with slot machine gaming and I was art directing. So this is me drawing out different symbols, for the game. Here's like caricatured animals. You can see that giraffe up there. Right, so I was mixing this one up with work and my own. I don't normally do that. I have to say, I actually have a whole slew of sketchbooks that is only work stuff. And that's like another 5 or 10 sketchbooks worth that I have. At one of my jobs, I learned that it was great for me to have a sketchbook. As an artist, it's where I would put all my meeting notes, but all of my sketches would be in that as well. I had lots of caricatures of the people I worked with in those sketchbooks also. There's my dog Hazel, which I think I posted some of this on Instagram. Anyway, the reason I'm sharing this with you is just that, you can take a paper you like and make your own sketchbook, right? Sandwich it between some foam core. And this is Matt Damon from Talented Mr. Ripley, a little caricature. And then you can make your own sketchbooks, right? You don't need to buy a sketchbook. You might find paper that you really like and make your own, okay? All right, last video. Thanks for hanging out and staying with me here. Let's get to this last one.
Might have to do a part 2 of this.
Yeah, exactly. I'm showing you this last one. This is just basically my latest, right? So this is one of my latest sketchbooks. You can see again, I work always in the spiral bound. I work usually 8.5 by 11 size. This one is from about a year ago. I was teaching one of my students that I mentor. We were at Disney Land together. And he was trying to figure out how to draw on location and environment. So here I was taking him through this and how I had developed this scene and shaped out stuff like foliage and rocks, right? And understanding how design can get brought into that, right? So I know it's a tricky thing to think about is like, how do you handle all this organic stuff? You can see here, this is one of the rides, Splash Mountain, and this is my first attempt. This is the second one, so I'm pushing shape design. A lot of this stuff, believe it or not, is in the Force character design book. It's like proportion and shape, as Swendlin was saying earlier, and I'm using it when I'm drawing on location, right? So this is nowadays what my sketchbooks look like. You know, this is me drawing scenes at Disneyland California Adventure, right? Sometimes it'll be in frames, as you can see. Sometimes it's vignetted drawings of people. These are marker and ballpoint pen. Here's some trees I was designing, right? So it's not only people, it's not only force figure drawing. I love drawing everything, you know, and I happen to be, I love design. I really, really love design. It doesn't matter if I'm composing, you know, a composition like this. I had this, I'm a big World War II buff. So I had this crazy idea of doing like a science fiction, like Nazi thing. And this was like this giant poster that I was creating for it. And I was going to have these US, you know, this is Hitler over here with these like tanks rolling across these hills and all these soldiers walking in. And I was going to make it science fiction like. So this is me going off the deep end again. Right. Some of it's forced drawing. This is me working with a brush pen, right? And I'm quickly just sketching out figures from imagination. Here's my dogs again, right? I like drawing heads and shapes, right? So I'm just tinkering around. Again, some of this made its way to Instagram. And that's pretty much it. So this is what it looks like nowadays. And then of course there's, you know, my iPad. So that's the other thing I sketch on all the time, but this is what my sketchbook life looks like now, you know? So that's it. That's everything I got. I'm going to stop share. Go back to our gallery view here. So thanks for everyone for, first of all, sticking around. We went way over time today. I think we were also excited on sharing what we had with you guys. I hope we inspired you, if anything, to get in there and draw in your sketchbook. Draw everything, right? Like draw what's going on in your life. I think there's a big learning curve to go through, literally, of just draw everything. Take a week or two even and just draw everything. Like have it attached to your body. Draw what you're eating, draw what your kitchen looks like, draw the bedroom, draw your hands, draw from television, right? Draw whoever's living in the house with you, just like draw. You'd be amazed at what you can learn just with like mileage. You have guided mileage, even better, but most of you already have that, right? You're here with us, so you have some guided mileage. Just keep drawing, right? Fill up those sketchbooks, create your own diary of what's going on with your life. You know, you have sketchbooks of different sizes for different purposes as well. Find what you like to work with. It seemed like a lot of us ended up going to spiral bound. Like I said, my recommendation would be spiral bound. Always pay attention to the type of paper you're buying in sketchbooks, if it's rough or smooth based on the materials you're using. Yeah, and go and record your own life, right? What we have over people who write in their diaries with words is we've got pictures to record our lives with, right? So that's it. Have a great week, everyone. A great weekend. Thank you guys for sharing your personal drawings today and your sketchbooks. We will see you next week. We're probably going to do a recorded thing for our quote unquote live session next week because of the holidays, but we didn't want to skip. So we've got another interesting video for you guys next week. So please stop on by again on Friday when that video will launch. And then we will see you all in the new year. So have a great holiday season and a happy new year. Same to you guys, Diego, Swendlin, and Ritunj.
Happy Christmas, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, have a great Christmas. You know, if you celebrate that, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and Happy New Year. And we will see you in 2021. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.